I'll call you.
Yeah, reach back. You ready? Hit the button there.
Spinning utility office.
Being told I'm a wonderful person, no matter what you say.
It says the internet connection was restored. It's not starting to.
Hold on.
There must be something interesting going on.
This is Adrian Hunt with your Southeast Colorado News on Eco News Not Org. We're here with the Junta City Council as they're preparing to begin their regular council meeting for October 16th.
Oh. Oh, what is it? Oh my gosh.
Ever since I've been at least watching them online.
That is interesting. I was hoping there would be.
All right, good evening, everybody.
Silver lining.
Mr. Klein, you're starting. All right, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the regular meeting of the Junta City Council on October 16th, 2023. The time is now 6 p.m. If you'd all rise for our invocation. Heavenly Father, as leaders of La Junta, we gather together for this city council meeting, seeking your wisdom and guidance. We pray for your presence to be felt in this room, that we may be guided by your love and grace as we make decisions that will impact the lives of our citizens. We ask for your help in finding solutions to the challenges that face our community. May we work together in unity and harmony, putting the needs of our people first. We also pray for the people of La Junta, that they may be blessed with health, prosperity, and happiness. May our city thrive and flourish under your care and guidance. In your holy name we pray, amen. If you'll stay standing for our Pledge of Allegiance, if Mr. Councilman Ramirez would lead us in it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Fraker.
Ramirez,
Present.
Velasquez,
Present.
Ayala,
Present.
Junta, Vila,
Here.
Pantoya. Here.
Thank you. All right, minutes of the previous meeting. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the past meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. And that passes unanimously. All right, for a lot of you here that are in the audience, it is now time for citizen participation. Please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the camera, and you have 5 minutes, depending on my trusty timer here. So if anyone would like to come up for citizens participation, now is your time. Rick, can you hit that button?
Yes, sir. I sure can. Right here, ma'am. There you go.
Hi, my name is Pauline Foss. I've only lived here for about a year and a half, and I live at 321 Lewis Avenue. And my issue is weeds. I know I think this has come up before, I'm told anyway. But recently, code enforcement came by and told me I had to chop down these particular grasses that I have. Well, I wanted them there. They grew up on their own. They were pretty. They were uniform color, uniform height. They hid one side of the house, which is where I wanted it to hide. And so to me, they're not a weed. A weed is something you don't want. A weed competes with what you do want. But, so I want them, but I was told I had to cut them down. And so what is the definition of a weed in La Junta? That's what I would like to know.
Was it like a cholla?
It was a feather finger grass. I looked it up.
7-finger grass.
Feather.
Now, see, that's more of a prairie grass right there, what you're talking about.
A what kind?
What, prairie grass?
Yeah.
Well, what is your address, ma'am?
321 Lewis Avenue.
Lewis Avenue.
Well, I've started cutting it down. But also, this is the first time this has happened, and I was wondering, couldn't you give me a warning? And then if I don't do it, you charge me instead of just slapping it on me right away, since I'm not real familiar with the weed issues in this town yet, having lived here only a year and a half. And also, there's no HMO in this town, right? Nobody knows anything about what
HOA?
HMO,
An
or
HMO?
HOA, whatever it is.
Homeowners Association.
Yeah. And so nobody knows anything, me anyway, about what is a weed and what isn't, and what's required and what you can do and what you can't do on your own property. And since I just think, well, what right have you got to tell me what I can do on my own property? And it isn't very tall. It's not like it's falling over onto the sidewalk or impeding. There's no bugs in it. It's just very attractive to me. And of course, different people have different principles of aesthetics and what they like and don't like.
Did you receive a citation?
Yeah, it came to the door.
A warning or an actual citation?
No, the citation.
And what's your name again, please?
Pauline
Foss.
Foss. Pauline Foss. F-O-S-S. And so,
I'll look into that part of it for you, Ben.
okay.
Yeah, and I'll come by and I'll identify that. And if I need to do some better education on the code officers, I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking maybe they could do that. Maybe something, the citizens could have some kind of information given to them on hand. And also, are there ugliness citations? I walk my dog around and I walk past all these bare dirt yards, nothing in them, maybe a little trash, a dried up plant or two that gave up. And so, they should get a citation too. Do you want this town to look nice, uniformly, even though it might be different for everybody, and different bushes, different plants, different this or that? So I guess that's also.
Pauline, you're seeing the same things we did, and what we just got through doing this last year, we spent a year and a half redoing our land use codes to, let the front and setback requirements diminish some, so people can take out some of that bare ground that they have and turn their one bedroom, one bath into two bedroom, two bath, or so forth for the bigger families.
Well,
So-
I realize.
So we did take we hear you.
Yeah, I do realize that a lot of these are rentals.
Yes.
Yeah, and so wouldn't
A third of
that
Lanta.
be, wouldn't that be the job of the owners
Guaranteed.
to do something? And also, I notice I still have a few minutes, in the backyards as I walk by some of these places with my dog. I walk my dog every day. I walk all over the place. And they're absolutely full of garbage, literally. Garbage, junk, 6 or 7 junk cars. Isn't there some kind of ordinance with regard to that?
We grapple with that every day, and we are going after about 200 of them right now. And non-compliance is out there in full force, I'll tell you that.
Okay. So, yeah, the code officer, he was a very nice man. His Lovato, his last name. And, but he didn't really seem to know very much. He didn't answer my questions very much. So maybe, like you said, maybe they could get a little bit more of education so that they can answer somebody's questions if somebody has any questions.
10 seconds.
Huh?
10 seconds.
So I'm gonna come by your house and I'm gonna look. Is that on the north side or south side?
I don't have any mountains to go.
Okay, towards the highway or away from the highway?
Away from the highway.
Okay, that's on your south side. I grew up in that neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved from Colorado Springs and I'm used to the mountains on the west.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to Lahana.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to come up for citizen participation?
Oh, he's teaching.
Ma'am, please state your name and your address.
Angela Ayala, somewhere over there on San Juan. Forgive my tardiness, running children per the usual. I wanted to come and fill the city council in on the cleanup that I did of the weeds in Highway 50. This was a couple of weeks ago, but we were out of town for a little while. We had over 60 plus volunteers come from Otero College and the community to come and help clean up the weeds along Highway 50. We had participation from WW Feeds as well as BNSF to allow us on their property to get it done. They made quick work of it. We filled 2-yard boxes. I don't know how big they were, but they were big. 15 minutes, one was full. So we called for another one. I just wanted to thank publicly the Otero men and women's basketball teams, as well as the wrestling teams and their coaches. Several members of the community who came out and helped other people who joined in on other sides of the highway. It was good to see, and it looks a lot
It
better.
looks fantastic.
So
Great job. Thank you.
happy to do that for our community, even happier to have the young people pitching in to get it done. Some of those weeds, I think that there was a basketball player who was 6'9" who held up one of those weeds for me, and it was bigger than he was. So we were happy to get those Christmas trees out. The second thing I wanted to say is the Tarantula Fest went very well. We doubled in size from the previous year. We had lots of vendors, lots of outsiders to our community taking part in the festivities. We, of course, took away some negatives from the event, which we can only hope to grow upon for next year. But I really wanted to give a big shout out to the City of La Junta and all of their employees for stepping in and stepping up and helping where needed. The utility crew worked tirelessly to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. Engineering knew I forgot to call for dumpsters, but they made sure I had them anyway. Everybody just really stepped up and made sure it went off really, really well. Our community gets to be highlighted, and there were lots and lots of outsiders that came in to enjoy the festivities, so I wanted to thank everybody for their help in that event, because it's not a one-woman show. It's not even a 12-person committee. It was much more than that. So I wanted just to thank everybody for their help in putting that together.
Thank you for leading the effort.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Liz Roberts, 914 East 6th Street, Honda. I'm here to talk about Woodruff Memorial Library. Libraries are no longer just the book warehouses you remember fondly from your youth. They serve people of every age, income level, location, and physical ability. They advocate for everyone's right to read and the right to privacy. Freedom of information is fundamental to the American way of life, and it sets us apart from many countries. Libraries and librarians are committed to preserving the freedom to read, to enhance learning, and to ensure access to information for all. Libraries are an essential community hub where they connect people to information and connect people to people, providing Wi-Fi 24/7, especially in the time of the pandemic. I've been a Woodruff Memorial Library staff member for 34 years now. We have 2 employees with 30 plus years. I'm included in that number. 2 with 15 years, 1 with 10 plus years, 3 with 5 plus years, and 1 under a year. 1 staff member retired this year after 14 years. While I've loaned out a lot of free books during this time, I've also helped people learn new skills, discover new authors, connect with new technology, and so much more. Something I've noticed after telling my peers I'm a librarian is that a lot of them haven't set foot in a library since they were a kid. Below are just some of the things that people are overlooking that they easily can get for free, simply by using their library card at Woodruff Memorial Library. Digital media. Ebooks and audiobooks which can be downloaded for free right to your phone or tablet, downloaded from January 2023 to September 2023 from Cloud Library and Overdrive. 3,562 ebooks were downloaded and 2,925 of audiobooks. A total of 7,973 items have been downloaded. My friend once found herself on a long bus trip with nothing to read. No problem. She just opened up her Libby app and downloaded an ebook to keep her company along the way. Travel ebooks for long trips are great, so you don't need to lug around that physical travel guide. Free passes. Woodruff Memorial Library offers free passes to several wonderful places, such as Pueblo Zoo, Sagredo Cristo Arts and Conference Center, Rosemont Museum, Western Museum of Mining and Industry, Space Foundation Discovery Center, and even state parks, which can be borrowed for a week. Personal development. If you prefer to spend your free time on personal or professional development, the library can help with that too. Access to resources if you'd like to add a language skill to your resume. You can take advantage of Mango language. You can learn Mandarin in your spare time or prepare for that trip to Paris you've been saving up for. Universal Class offers over 500 online continuing education courses. Unexpected non-book items. Woodruff Memorial Library loans out a collection of things like puzzles, STEAM kits, early literacy kits, hotspots, laptops, kilowatt meters that help you discover how much electricity is being used. We also have musical instruments. You can try out that new hobby you've always been meaning to pick up without spending a dime. That way you can see if your dream of learning to play the ukulele is something you'd like to pursue before going out and buying. Promotes literacy. Through access to materials and library programming, Woodruff Memorial Library promotes literacy to all ages. Programs include Winter Adult Reading Program, Summer Reading Program, Story Time, Friday Fillers, WML, Lego Club, Teen Activities Group. We're also a partner in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. T.T. Woodruff created the first young folks library in 1888. He saw the potential in Lahaina, and that vision continues today. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else for citizen participation?
Sorry, I'm just going to read off of this and hopefully I can skim through it. Okay.
State your name, Megan.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Yerger, and I live in North Lahaina. I work at the city's RO plant as the operator in responsible charge. I wanted to come up today to discuss a little bit of what has been going on at the plant and hopefully give you all another perspective to think about. I have heard so much conversation about 2A and what happens if it does or does not pass. There's been a lot of good and bad information thrown around, so I wanted to set a couple things straight as we view it from the plant. First of all, I'd like to share my thoughts on the $17 charge for the water plant loan on everybody's utility bill. I truly don't believe that many people have an idea of what really goes on at the plant or beneath our roads, besides the people who really have to deal with it every day, and that's okay. It's not your job to know all about it, it's mine. But just to give you a little bit of an idea, I have made a list of a few things that will need replaced as soon as we get the parts in or that have been replaced over the last couple months. We are in need of parts for actuators that operate valves in the plant and new actuators. There are almost 30 of them in the plant currently. I received a quote for all things necessary for $20,363. We received a quote for $1,277 for a caustic tank level sensor, which is not necessary to run the plant, but without it we don't really know the actual level in the tank. I received a quote for $8,173 for a finished water flow tube and transducer. It is necessary to run the plant, and the current one is showing signs of failure. We recently bought a load of scale inhibitor or pretreatment plus 100 for $47,463.50, which is a chemical we use at the plant and is required to run. I received a quote of $8,204 for a chlorine analyzer, which included a probe. It is required to run the plant. If we don't have it, operators have to be there to sample every 4 hours, which would require us to go on a 24-hour shift because the city is not able to pay everybody the overtime that would be required. So in total, from the month of August until now, just on the big stuff in the plant that we have received quotes on or purchased, depending on which listed item, we have spent $85,480.50. That's in 2 months. And it's only for the big stuff that I can remember since I wrote this morning on a lack of sleep and 1 cup of coffee. We have also received a quote for the rehabilitation of our main storage tank, otherwise known as the Tiger Tank, for almost $600,000 that we are going to have to put off until later because we just don't have the money for it right now. I can't speak for the distribution system as that's not my department, so all of this is only the big stuff for the water treatment plant and doesn't include any of our normal expenses. I'd also like to point out something that was brought up during the budget work session that Elisa and Rick did in September. We recently signed a contract with Browns Hill Engineering to update our SCADA system. This contract will cost us $150,000 per year for 5 years and includes all of the installation of the new system, as well as regular upkeep, routine maintenance, and troubleshooting. I cannot stress how much the plant needs this. Just about a week and a half ago, the plant SCADA system went completely blank, showing all zeros on all of our totals, yet the plant was still running as it should. We spent all day trying to fix this problem, and it turned out to be an issue with information piling up on our main PLC. So long story short, our older system that not many can even work on anymore is just too old and obsolete. The water plant needs the $17 charge, plain and simple. We are barely getting by as it is. I would also like to point out that inflation does not help the city like I've heard many people say it does. I have received quotes from vendors who charge extra just because we are a municipality. We are also dealing with inflated prices. For example, totalizers on our ROs were just over $1,000 in 2015. They are now $3,100. And we have about 20 in the plant, and that's not including labor to install. Secondly, I'd like to just give my point of view on if 2A does not pass and how it will affect the water department. If 2A does not pass, the golf course, pool, library, and senior center will be shut down. Obviously, everybody's heard about it. But the biggest place this affects the water department is the pool and golf course. We at the plant can see a visual difference from when the golf course does and does not water the greens. This year we have been very lucky to get a lot of rain, and even though they still water when necessary, the plant has been running less and less. We have not had a day where the plant has put out over 5 million gallons. Last year our high was 6.2 million gallons for the day. That's a massive difference in water sales. So as another perspective, if the golf course closes, that's around $100,000 per what Bill said in revenue, give or take, that the water department no longer gets just from the golf course. That money is going to have to come from somewhere. I can't predict the future, but I can take a guess on where it will come from, and it won't be from everyone that comes to La Junta to purchase something. It will come from increased rates from the City of La Junta water users only, and I doubt it will be just an extra $1 per $100 that we spend. So I really encourage everyone to think about those consequences as well. Thirdly, I'd like to address the $5 an hour pay increase for the City of La Junta employees. Before this raise, I was offered a job at another city with less responsibility, better hours, and a $30,000 per year increase in pay. I went to Tom and Rick and said I want to stay in La Junta, but I can't turn down that much. What can we do? And they told me to give them some time and they would figure it out. Several other employees also had other job offers. 2 from our distribution department that were amazing employees had to leave also. I truly believe we were on the verge of a mass walkout, and still a lot of us are working long hours and can't keep up with the work that we do have. Lastly, I would love to encourage absolutely anyone that wants to see what we do to come take a tour of the plant. We are all very proud of it and love to show it off. If you'd like to schedule a tour, please get a hold of me after the meeting, or I'm sure Rick can get you in touch with me also. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan.
That's a great tour, by the way. I've been on it. I had a couple people come into my office and they asked me a question, and I reiterated that question, but I felt that I should come here and reiterate it. And I'm just hoping Mr. Maloff says I'm right.
I'll let you know in a couple of minutes.
The ballot issue says, shall City of La Junta taxes be increased by approximately $1.4 million in 2024, and then annually by whatever additional amounts are raised. A couple people have misinterpreted that to mean that we could raise the sales tax again, and I have informed them that no, it just means if we receive more than 1.4 million, that the city would be able to keep it. Is that correct, sir?
It pains me to say it, but yes, you are correct.
Thank you. And the only other thing I wanted to remind people is that on October 25th, which is next week at 5:30, Rick and I are going to do another Facebook Live. You've heard a lot of people talk and give information, and if you would like us to answer those questions, we will be available. I know this budget inside and out. Rick knows it inside and out, and we would be happy to answer any questions regarding any of the numbers, costs, whatever. Go ahead and ask us, email us ahead of time, or you'll be able to do it right there. Thank you.
Hey, do you have,
I'm sorry, what?
do you have any figures on how much the increase in the water and electric has come in since July?
Okay, the base rate was increased $12, a little, not more than $12, 11 something. Usage is different, but usage in July and August, which is your August and September bills, is always higher. And I'll give you mine. My bill was $400 last month. My new bill that was just created last week is $250, and it's just because I run my AC or I'm watering. Now I will say the watering went down because of the rain, so we didn't water as much as our house, but it's not uncommon for me to get a $220 bill and then all of a sudden for 2 months I get $400 bills. That's just, people use AC and it goes up. I caution you not to use a space heater.
I thought those were your favorite.
Oh, I tell people I don't care how small or big they are.
You know what, Lisa, I did. I took my bill, same thing. I was 400 and some odd, and it dropped down to 232, and like 170 of the drop was electric.
Yeah, mine was electric.
And and that's just degree days in August. That was it.
If
And
you,
now
yeah.
we don't use it, so.
If you call the utility office, and you can even do it yourself, I always recommend don't look at the cost of your bill. No, because the cost of your bill isn't going to tell you anything. Yes, my bill was $400, okay? When I looked at the usage, I used 1,000 more kilowatts this year than I did last year. And that's right on your bill. It says what I used last year and what I used this year. So when I look at that, I look at my husband and go, what did you do? Isn't that what everybody does? What did you plug in? So I always encourage people to look at the usage. Same thing with your water. Look at your usage. And you can get online and go to our website, click on pay your bill, and you don't have to pay it. You can just view it and you'll see the exact same thing we do. It's just, it lists, if there's a chart, it lists all your usage, and that's what you want to look at, your usage. Because if your bill went up, and I honestly don't believe the people who told you their bill went up $500. I want to see it, because that has to be usage. You had to have used more.
Yeah.
And if you have bad utilities, that will do it. If you have a leaky toilet, that's almost 5,000 gallons a day, just on the toilet.
Wow.
Just on the toilet. So you have a leaky toilet for 3 days, that's 15,000 gallons that just went through your meter. So I always recommend people always look at the usage, not the cost. We had a bad refrigerator, never shut off. My electric bill skyrocketed because of a bad refrigerator that never stopped the defrost mode.
Lisa, there are some in the community who have said the electric rate has went up. What would you say to that?
No, it did not. No, it did not.
The water.
The water rate did go up.
But not electric.
Do you
But
know
not
how much additional revenue you've got in so far?
I couldn't tell you that number right here off the top of my head, but I did send out financials. And I did send out the period billing summary, but
Well, I was just interested, and other people were also, in the total increase in revenue between electric and water.
I could get those numbers for you.
Okay.
It would take me a little bit because I'd have to compare this year to last year. I'd be happy to email that out. There's no way I could just run downstairs and get it.
Then you got to compare it to degree days and stuff like that, because you never know if it's.
Yeah, and I gotta,
You know, you got
there's some things I have to do
apples
because I'm gonna tell you right now, we had a lot more rain this year than we did last year. So I almost couldn't tell you how much we increased because it really rained.
I can't argue with you the weather.
No, I can't argue the weather. But I can probably do something with electric
Okay.
and give you something.
Well, just send me an email or something.
I will do that, sir.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
Anyone else for citizens participation? All right, thank you all for participating. That's awesome. All right, unfinished business. Mr. Maloff.
Wake up, Mr. Mayor, before we start the ordinances, I'd like to address a comment made by Mrs. Foss. I took your comments very seriously.
Thank you.
And Mr. Klein and his staff have been working very hard to try to remove trash and rubbish and things. And I overheard you say to your friend, I'm the only one that has anything negative to say, but that was appreciated. However, having said that, I'd like to warn you that I'm the author of the ordinances in this community, and I'm not in favor of passing an ugliness ordinance for very obvious reasons. I decide it every day.
Dean, I don't think your mic's on. I'm kind of glad for that joke.
All right.
Well, we'll draft it anyway.
Okay. Not making fun of you, ma'am. I was making fun of me.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All of these ordinances are, just to refresh your memory, there's a lot of them. With regard to annexation ordinances, there are really a couple of different steps. One is to, first of all, annex the property into the city, and then the second one, if that is annexed, then to approve a change in the zoning ordinance. And then the last one has to do with the historic preservation thing. But all of these will require simply a motion by someone in the board here and a second discussion to consider the issue.
I'll make a motion on a second reading for the ordinance concerning annexation for property owned by Bob G. V. Hill.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'm waiting for Deb. Hold on.
Okay.
Any discussion? Not, I'll ask for your vote. That is unanimous.
Next ordinance would be an ordinance amending ordinance number 1242, the zoning ordinance of the city of Atlanta, as concerns an application for annexation by Bob G. V. Hill.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. That is unanimous.
Mr. Mayor, the next ordinance is an ordinance concerning an annexation for property tract number 1.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. That passes unanimously.
And then the next ordinance is an ordinance amending ordinance number 1242, the zoning ordinance of the city of Atlanta, as concerns an application for annexation by Peggy Valerio, Patricia Membrano, Dana Alcaraz, Irene Leba, and Ross Leba.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
All these ordinances on this particular track, they're surrounding the restaurant, right? Felicia's?
True. On 2 sides, yes.
Huh?
Yes, on 2 sides.
Any other discussion? Not I'll ask for your vote. And there's one no vote, Mr. Vila. That still passes.
Next ordinance is an ordinance concerning annexation for property tract number 2.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask for a vote. And there's one no vote, which is Mr. Vila. That still passes on.
Mr. Mayor, on second reading, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1242, the zoning ordinance of the city of Lahaina as concerns an application for annexation by Peggy Valerio, Patricia Membrano, Diana Alcazares, Irene Leba, and Ross Leba.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not, I'll ask for your vote. That passes with one no vote for Mr. Vila.
Mr. Mayor, on second reading, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1579, which established the City of Lahaina Historic Preservation Advisory Authority, providing for the designation of historic landmarks, historic buildings, historic sites, and historic districts, providing for notification to the Historic Preservation Advisory Authority of the intended alteration, removal, or demolition of designated historical buildings, landmark sites, and districts, providing for the revocation of designations of historic landmarks, historic buildings, historic sites, and historic districts, and declaring an effective date for this ordinance.
I didn't get that. Can you read it again? No, I'm just kidding. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask for your vote. That passes unanimously. Mr. Maloff.
I'm still thinking about the ugliness ordinance. Mr. Mayor, Arkansas Valley Hospice, doing business at 531 Lewis Avenue, has requested a special events permit for their business after hours, sponsored on November 3rd, 2023 from 5:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. The application's and order fees have been paid, posting's been done, city management recommends favorable consideration.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for the special event permit by Arkansas Valley Hospice.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Oh, hold on. All right. Now, if not, I'll ask for your vote. That passes unanimously. Committee and board reports. Any committee and board reports?
I attended the Senior Center Advisory Board meeting, and I guess just want to say that things are going on as usual, starting to temper back depending on the passage of 2A, but again, to commend the members of the advisory board on their getting out into the public, setting up information booths, assisting with the tarantula affair they're getting out there. So they're really doing a lot of yeoman's work out there, and I appreciate that from them.
Any other committee and board reports? Moving on to city manager comments.
All right, the Breaking Tile Trail has started. TLM has done the grubbing, they got the surveyors in, they've laid out the center line of it. We're doing some little adjustments, tweaking of it now that we have it laid on ground, and the bridges should come in about a month and a half. So we're on our way to getting this done.
Rick, what's grubbing?
Grubbing is taking out all the vegetation. Now, they have to get it down for the surveyors to get into. After this, what you'll see them do is come in and start going down to the subgrade, and start bringing it back up.
So are they starting on 10th Street or the
No,
river?
they'll probably start down towards the highway and stuff, because we got to wait for the bridges to come through. Now, they've already put in the temporary bypass on where we put that bridge in, right there by 8th Street, to go over to the mental health, right there, and they put a bypass in. So they're going to have it all prepped up, ready to go for when the bridges come in, that they can start putting them in. So I'm really looking forward to this project. Aries and Associates, they're our contractor for the $500,000 brownfield grant. We had a kickoff meeting, You know, as soon as they get the initial paperwork into the EPA, just like last time, you know, we have to come up with a community involvement plan. We have to come up with what they call a quality assurance plan. They call it QAP. But, you know, and that's no different than, you know, like when we have the EPA in and they have to wet the buildings down and you see the people in suits and all that. They have to do that type of, you know, when dealing with Brownsfield. So, you know, and those companies, you know, that do that for a living, they got that right down, you know. So this part of the paperwork should come off pretty fast, I'm hoping. And then we're going to host some public hearings. And, you know, just again, wanted to tell people, this is one of the few grants I've seen where we can help out the private sector. Okay. We will come in with this EPA grant and identify, test, give you a cleanup plan with cleanup costs to remove asbestos and the contaminants. They turn you over to an 80-20 EPA grant where you only paid 20%. You're not going to get it cheaper than that, folks. But what that does is once you got out those contaminants, you can move forward with your building, whether you're rehabbing it, whether you're going to tear it down, whatever. But then that rest of that's on you, because that's where our position stops. You know, all we're trying to do is lower the costs for rehabs and stuff and get rid of contaminations for you in your building so you don't breathe it and your customers, and also for future generations. So if you do got a building like that, come talk to us. But otherwise, stay tuned for public hearings. Weeds. Ma'am, you nailed it. You know, I get probably 10 calls a day on weeds. You know, neighbor after neighbors after each other, and this is last time, folks. You know, the end of season's here. Let's get our weeds out and make sure. But if it is prairie grass, come talk to me.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely into prairie grass myself. You know, so and that natural type of habitats. Okay, we're working with the consultants on federal funding to help out with the water mains, water valves, and meters. We've reconstructed Carson from 1st to 5th. Looks good. Now we got tie-in 2nd Street on both sides, and we have to put some new cross pans in before we can do that, and then re-level that street down, and also on 4th Street, same thing. The fire department's been experiencing a lot of calls lately. They haven't been good, guys. Be safe out there, please. You know, when you're getting on highways, when you're going down the road, do not speed, especially coming into town. Stop at your stop signs. Look for others. Just keep everybody safe. Senior Center, they have started bird watching classes, Chinese food cooking classes. They have live story book time. You heard about the library, what all they have to offer. Come see it. Come experience it. You're going to love it. We do a good job. And the people that are working there, just like in the library, you know, at the Senior Center, they care. They're there to serve you. You know, help us. EPA did okay 218 Harriet. Now that's that house just north of like a car wash right down. And as you can tell, they started to tear it down and stuff. But the person turned it over to us, and we got hold of the EPA, and they saw it, and they're going to help us out. So
is that going to be our property?
6, yes. And then what I'll do is work with the two owners, the adjacent owners, to try to sell to try to better the drainage situation in that area. Okay? Because you cannot build on that lot. It's too little. We've installed cameras at the Brick and Tile Park. We have installed cameras in the Brick and Tile Park, folks, so don't go in there and start havoc. We'll know who you are. Fine. Okay, K through 2, through grade 2, as basketball registration is open until November 3rd. And I'd like Lisa and Joe, would you join me down below? Or we can do it right up here. Okay. Joe and Lisa, Joe Ayala and Lisa Pantoja went through Action 22's Leadership and Governance program and I was up at their annual meeting, and we're not doing any out-of-town travel, so they gave me their certificates. And I just want to tell you how proud I am of both of these people for going through. Daniel Horton also went through this program. There were 10 modules, and what we did was we taught them the difference between local, state, and federal, how to write a bill, how to lobby for a bill, how to lobby against a bill, how to go up and testify for a bill, how to govern these meetings and stuff. And both of these guys just excel. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for showing your leadership when you do this type of stuff. I've seen you at Action 22, both of you. Thank you. Thank you. Because you guys are the futures of the leader you're the leaders of our future. So God bless you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And Daniel was out of town, otherwise he said he would be here.
Any questions for the city manager?
How's the cleanup going?
Cleanup's actually going pretty good. Right at the first, we had, within a couple of hours, we were full as far as on TVs being dumped over there, but it really slowed down since then and picks up on the weekends. I thought we'd get more at during the week, but it's been real well. And we got neighbor helping neighbor. So
Find out who's dumping the TVs?
No, it was just a bunch of individuals. They all been waiting for us to have this electronic cleanup, and I guess they brought some last year too. So
Every year.
yeah, I don't know where to get them all.
In regards to the fire department calls that we've been getting, is there
Yeah.
any way we could put some type of warning, watch your speed signs
Oh, yeah.
as we're coming into town?
We've been we're gonna be looking at putting our trailer out there and stuff. Yeah.
On each end?
Yeah. Yeah, and guys, not all of it's car wrecks. We just had a lot of activity from EMS all the way to structure fires and stuff. But it's just a time we have to be careful. It's drying out there. It's so easy to spark a fire right now, and we just knock on wood. Let's not have it happen again.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to governing body comments. Do you have any governing body comments?
I do. Ms. Yergert's mentioned the employee raise, and I've been asked to speak to it. So that was a nice segue into it. Some of the concern, I guess, that's being bandied about in the community about it is why wasn't the public allowed, or didn't they have a say on voting for an employee raise? Well, that's just not the way it works. It's up to the council upon recommendation of the city manager when we took this endeavor on to for the $5 an hour raise for our city employees. So it's not that we're edging out the community out there, that's just the way of working. It wasn't a tax issue, which would require a vote of the citizenry. And by what Megan said tonight, if I may use your first name, it's not only, it's needed just to maintain a competitive workforce and keep the talent that we have local. So I hope that suffices in what you wanted me to say, ma'am. And if Rick or Mr. Maloff has anything to say about it, it is not a tax issue that requires a vote of the citizenry. So I don't know if Rick, you want to make a comment or any other council member?
You're spot on, Paul.
Okay. Okay, moving on from that, I've also been asked to speak this on the east side of town, close to our residence this morning. We heard a loud explosion, and then the power went out. That was at 8:03 this morning. That was at 8:03 in the morning. At 8:15, our city crew shows up because I could hear him backing up, and by 8:51, power's restored. Now, we did get an alert from Spectrum, I believe, that said that power wouldn't be restored until 11:30, and it was within the hour. So just a shout out to the utility crew that showed up and did that. And I know that other people I know in the metro area, when I talk to them about some of the things that we experience down here, power outages, it can be an all-day ordeal. Colorado Springs has an inordinate amount of power failures, and it becomes a 6-hour, you can go 6 hours without power, and here within an hour we have power restored to our part. I don't know, maybe a large part of the city wasn't even aware of that occurring.
I didn't know.
Moving on, I guess I have more citizen comments or governing body comments than I did. The Chamber of Commerce hosted an Office of Economic Development, International Trade, Mr. Salvetti and General Belisek, along with Councilwoman Pantoja, Julie Worley and Greg Kolowitz, and forget your son's name, Julie, but David, met out at the golf course and had a very robust conversation about the city of La Junta. And they openly admitted that they didn't know a lot about what the city of La Junta was about or what we had to offer. At the conclusion of that meeting, they were excited with some of the resources that they may be able to leverage, namely our airport and our airspace. So Lisa, if you would like to make any comments.
We also gave them information on the police training area, so kind of opened their eyes to, you could just see the wheels spinning. I think we had a really good meeting, and they asked to come here thanks to Julie's son David. He's born and raised in La Junta, lives in, where does he live? Denver. Works for Denver South, senior vice president, and he just loves La Junta, and he was an advocate for us. And I appreciate him planting that seed to, whatever he said, they were interested to come and visit.
And the one gentleman, Bob, has already reached out to me, and we connected with emails so we can get information to him as he needs it.
There we go. And lastly, well, not lastly, within our community we have a large population of people that just go out there and get it done. And they work their regular jobs. Sometimes they work 2 shifts, and then they're coaching a softball team at the rec league level, high school level, or even at the college level, and sometimes they're working 2 shifts. Or we see them out there at a football game coaching and volunteering their time. Maybe they're getting paid for it, but these people do it for the love of La Junta. And it's not just sports, it's everybody in La Junta that does something that just makes it work here for us. And I think I don't thank them enough, and I'm just taking this time to thank them for all that they do for our community. That's it.
I thought you said lastly, but not lastly, though. Thank you, Paul.
I had a couple
Go
of
ahead.
things.
It's your turn now.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I completed the 2023 Citizens Police Academy, and I enjoyed myself. It was a 5-week training, and we learned a lot. Your questions, some of the questions you had as far as the weeds, and I learned about the code enforcement and the dispatch, the police force, the history of the La Junta Police Department. It was a really good learning experience, and if they have enough participants next year, they'll have another one, and I highly recommend anyone who's interested. You'll learn a lot of information about how the police department operates. And thank you. Thank you for having me. One other thing. Okay, I have the 2A for LJ committee is going to be tailgating for the Tiger game. It's the last home game. The game starts at 7. We'll be on the south side of the entrance, and we will have hot dogs, drinks, chips, and we'll also be out there for anyone that still has some questions about 2A, some that are on the fence or still not for it, to be able to talk to us. And we also have our La Junta's very own Ethan Leba. He's been selected to go to Dallas, Texas to play in the All-American Bowl. And I think there might be one other student athlete who went to this, but it's in 2024 on Monday, January 8th, and he had a fundraiser yesterday, a cornhole tournament, and he has a Venmo, a Cash App, and a GoFundMe. So I want anyone that can help support him to get him there to reach out to either me, his mom, Dee, Gilbert, Leba, and we also have it on our Facebook page and help him out. He's a really good athlete and he deserves to go. That's it.
Thank you. Any other governing body comments?
I got another one. I got one. Are there any Nazarenes in here? None? Okay. Well, to the Nazarene Church at 10th and Topeka, I want to commend them for their weed control. They have for years done such a magnificent job. I mean, and they got about 3 or 4 acres because they own property from Topeka all the way to Belmont. And you always see their property tip top from the grass and everything. So to the Nazarenes out there, thank you. And thank you to the Jehovah's across the street for their beautiful building. They're maintaining it picture perfect. And also for the Clínica del Valle. That is also very, very nice. Very good upkeep in that area. And Evergreen Gardens the same way. The only one that I saw a little deficient was the one that we look at every morning, the city. But that's under construction, under the brick and tile part. Got a lot of weeds there. So thank you, Nazarenes, Jehovah's, Clinic people, Evergreen Gardens people. We appreciate it.
Thank you. A lot of you got a invitation on your thing. If you read it, it was for last week. So it was for the grand opening of the Blue Stem nursing home. Myself and Rick Klein attended that event. It was a great turnout. There were a lot of people out there. People picking out rooms, maybe. There was a ribbon cutting with Barb. Was it Kindholes? You guys may know her as Mary Sue Nichols' mother. She got to cut the ribbon for it. We were really, really excited to be there, talking to a lot of people. It was a great turnout, and I hope it's a very successful thing for our area.
Such a beautiful facility. Such a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
And then just so everybody knows, I will be traveling this Thursday. I got a phone call from Phil Weiser about 2 months ago. They're having a mayor's summit, if you will. It's only going to be 4 mayors. It's going to be the mayor of Denver, the mayor of Colorado Springs, the mayor of Grand Junction, and then I'm representing La Junta and the southeastern plains. The goal for this is to try and bridge the gap between metro and rural, and to show them that, you know, just because a law works in a bigger city, it doesn't always correlate to the rural cities. So we're going to be doing a Thursday and some Friday. I am going on my own recognizance. I'm paying for everything, so the city's not pitching anything on that. But I look forward to representing not just La Junta, but the southeastern region and the whole eastern half of Colorado. So I will report back on what we do and what we solve when we go up there.
Joe, you said Denver, Colorado Springs, and who else?
Grand Junction.
Grand Junction. Okay.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And then before I end it, you know, I have my daughter right here in the audience, and she sat through a 3-hour debate and a pretty long council meeting tonight. And, you know, so I just want to encourage her and everyone else that comes out to these meetings to keep coming. It really makes a difference. We enjoy serving you all, and it's a lot easier when there's a lot of people in the audience who are taking the time to care about their community, to talk about their community. We can't help fix things or shape new ordinances if we don't get this feedback from you guys. So thank you all for coming out, and thank you for spending your evenings with us. You know, we're really close to making this community what we want it to be, and I appreciate everyone that comes out and lets their voice be heard. So thank you all for that. And with that, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you everyone for coming out.
Thank you.
Junta City Council and the people of Southeast Colorado with your Southeast Colorado news. I'm Adrian Hart.